Hello, veterinary peeps. Today I want to talk about dress codes. Are they necessary? Should we just get rid of them? And if you're part of the United States, you know why I'm talking about this topic. It might be a hot button topic in the Senate right now. Good news is I'm not going to talk about politics, but I am going to talk about dress codes and how they pertain to veterinary medicine. So I'm going to give you the short version of it right now. I think dress codes are important. And here's why. Now, listen, you shouldn't judge a book by its cover. Absolutely. Like, that's what people say. But we do judge books by its cover. Right now, I'm about to go lecture at a conference. I'm trying my very best to dress in my conference chic. If I showed up on stage with holes in jeans or maybe even in pajamas, yeah, they might listen to me, but are they going to take me as seriously? And there's a lot of data-driven studies out there to show that affinity bias is something that we do based on how someone looks. And affinity bias means that managers are more likely to hire you and promote people, and people are more likely to believe your message based on, that's right, your appearance. And so while we don't want to judge a book by its cover and we think, oh, dress codes are silly, it's 2023, we should be able to wear whatever we want, the reality is that's not true. Aligning your style with whatever you're doing at work actually makes you not only look, but also feel the part. People, when they dress up, they feel more self-assured. You know this because if you've ever decided to go out with your friends or your family, the way that you dress is how you're presenting yourself. And so if you're going for a night out on town with your friends and you look good, you probably feel a lot better as well. Interestingly, in workplace environments, data has shown that it actually can improve work performance if we have a dress code. Yes, if we all feel like we're part of the same team, we're more likely to perform better, which sounds crazy, but think about it. If sports teams were just allowed to wear whatever they wanted and they didn't have to be in the same uniform, you know, today this one's wearing that color and this one's wearing that color, then would they perform as well? It might be a little bit of a struggle to figure out who's on the field, but you know, if you've ever played sports, you know who your teammates are. So that's probably not going to be that much of a confusion. The reality is a sports team, not only to the team members, but also the people watching it, shows that it's a cohesive unit. So now let's talk a little bit about veterinary medicine, because I get the ability to walk in and see a lot of veterinary hospitals through my consulting work. And the reality is sometimes I walk in and everybody's in scrubs and they look very put together and they're in similar colors. They don't have to be the same color. And sometimes they're in cute, adorable scrubs, but they're in scrubs. Now, when we think about dress codes also mean potentially work uniform, and work uniforms are functional. When we think about scrubs, they actually wick away moisture very quickly. You know this because if you've ever been peed on by one of your veterinary patients, very quickly, in the matter of like 10 or 15 minutes, your scrubs are dry. So they try to keep you as clean and dry as possible, but they're also easy to actually launder. So it's really important. So when we think about a veterinary hospital, not only are we wearing a work uniform, but then there's dress codes. And there's some hospitals where I was just in one not long ago. And let's just say this hospital's name was Happy Paws Veterinary Hospital. And I walked in and they're embroidered on many of the scrubs, Happy Paws Veterinary Hospital. But then there was one employee that said ABC Vet Clinic. And I said, are you working at this hospital? And this individual said, yes, I am, but I ran out of scrubs. So this is fine. They don't care. I'm very confused by this. They should care because you're not wearing the appropriate dress attire. So dress codes do matter because it's a perception, not only to yourself, but to your clients. And if we show up, you know, with scrubs that have holes in them or filthy dirty, that says I don't care about my job. This is particularly true for our veterinary receptionist, which happens to be the face of the veterinary hospital. Sometimes I walk in and I can see there is a dress code. They're wearing button-down shirts or nice pants, but no word of a lie. Speaking of pajama bottoms, I was at this hospital about a couple of years ago, and the receptionists were in hoodies, ripped t-shirts, and when the one stood up, she was wearing pajama bottoms. It wasn't just might be a pajama bottom, it was Smurf pajama bottoms with slippers. That's not a lie. We have to have dress codes because it really does make the appearance of the hospital. And I can tell well put together teams because doctors tend to, you know, have very similar attire. Veterinary technicians and nurses and assistants tend to have very similar attire. And then I can tell hospitals that are not put together at all. We've got mix match. We've got people not even wearing scrubs. They just don't care. They're wearing yoga pants for work. They just don't care anymore. So dress codes do matter because while we want to not judge a book by its cover, you do. You know this because how you present yourself in your clothes is the perception you give off to people. And as much as we want to say, it doesn't matter, it does. So here's the thing. If you are an employee of a veterinary hospital and you have a dress code policy, yeah, I get it. As long as it's in normal reason, that scrubs and certain colors and things like that, great. As long as it's not violating any sort of race, religion, or anything like that, dress code policies are fantastic because it says that we're all part of the same team. If you are not having a dress code policy, I encourage you to get one because your hospital probably is a little bit free spirit and looks a little disheveled, and clients probably recognize this. And remember that you want to look your best. And I get it. Sometimes you're not wanting to put on the nice scrubs. You just like, I don't care today. Listen, we have all had those days. I might have gone out into a food store in pajama bottoms before. And, I do wear a bra. This is very important to me. So too much information, Amy. But this is important. So it might be a t-shirt and bra and pajama bottoms. And maybe I've only done it a few times in my life, but I have known to do it because I just #don't care. But the perception of how I look in that food store, I get it. It's fine. It looks like I don't have my life together. And I'm fine with that. That's all right. But every other time, especially when I'm at work, conferences, I'm going to hopefully keep up with that dress code or the perception that I want to give off. I hope this helps you. I know it's a controversial topic here in the United States, but dress codes do matter. They absolutely do. I look forward to hearing your feedback and thank you for all that you do.